Tonight's headlines are brought to you by McDonald's.
Good evening, Commonwealth, and thanks for watching the Channel 2 News. I'm Ashley McDowell. Let's take a look at tonight's top stories. An individual tests positive for COVID-19 upon arrival to Tinian. Also tonight, not following COVID-19 directives leads to more business closures. And receiving your tax refund may be sooner than you think. We have the details. In sports, finding a public tennis court these days is no walk in the park. Stay with us. These stories and more are next.
Great customer rep, always willing to go above and beyond for his customers.
I truly hope she gets noticed at work, since I do see she is a hard worker.
The field technician that visited my home was great and helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Uni, keep it up.
Your customer service is always very good.
Awesome customer service with great technicians that are really helpful.
Thank you so much, Sherlyn and Docomo Pacific.
That's so sweet. It feels good to see this kind of messages because we try our best to do customer service.
We make sure that we will 100% resolve the issues.
For all those people that are seeking assistance,
I just want my customers happy
and help them out each and every day.
I would want to go to a place with someone that's just like me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Come to Docomo and you'll feel like you're at home.
It's gonna look a little different in here. Your favorite spot might not be exactly where it used to be. Being next in line might feel a little less like next in line. And our smiles might come with a little extra shine. But McDonald's is ready to take your order as safely as we can.
Hafa Day Turawami and good evening, Commonwealth. Today is Wednesday, August 2nd, 2020. A sailor that was deployed to Tinian from Guam tested positive for COVID-19, bringing the total positive number of cases in the CNMI to 57 since March. According to the COVID-19 Task Force and CHCC, the individual is part of the Naval Mobile Construction Battalion team sent to survey the Tinian Port construction project. The individual tested positive on Tuesday, September 1st, and was identified through the testing on arrival protocol. The sailor, along with the remainder of the team and 2 close contacts, were transported to Saipan and placed into quarantine at Kanoa Resort. A release from the Office of the Governor states the Department of Defense informed the CNMI government that the entire team of sailors remained on board the U.S. Naval Base Guam for 14 days prior to travel, and all tested negative for COVID. The COVID-19 Task Force and CHCC are coordinating with Navy public health officials for additional contact tracing. The Department of Public Safety is seeking your help in locating 2 individuals wanted for questioning. If you have any information on the whereabouts of the 2 males on your screen, Maynard Dela Cruz and Rollins Skaggs, contact the Criminal Bureau of Investigation at 664-9064 or call 911. Or to remain anonymous, call the CNMI Crime Stoppers hotline at 234-7272. 2 more establishments have been temporarily closed down for not following COVID-19 guidelines. Officials from the Alcoholic Beverage and Tobacco Control are playing no games when it comes to following the COVID-19 directives. Over the weekend, 2 establishments were shut down for not complying with the guidelines: Cheers Karaoke Bar in Garapan and Cool Laundry in Cagman 3.
Apparently, the laundromat was left unattended. There's nobody there to maintain crowd control and also to regularly and frequently sanitize the premises. For the bar, there was overcrowding at the bar area. There's no maintenance of crowd control and not maintaining social distancing.
Not only was there no crowd control, but Maritita says individuals were writing false names on the logbook at Cheers Karaoke Bar.
It may sound funny, but this is not a joke. Those people that are listing their names down in the logbook are not actually listing their real names, because some of them, except from the characters from the Game of Thrones, is written down as Maximus, and the other one is Minimus. So we cannot actually, we cannot condone to that kind of business acumen of the premises.
CHCC CEO Esther Muña says this sheet is important as it is used for contact tracing in the event a COVID positive individual enters the establishment.
Just wanted to emphasize the need for, cooperation, at least for the contact tracing. One of the reasons that was a concern for us is when there's we don't have that, and it is a key ingredient to reopening anything.
2 other businesses, Saipan Vegas and Club 88, have temporarily closed their doors to fix some issues that could become violations of the COVID directives.
When the directive was issued, there is a requirement on the directive for an updated reopening plans, as well as things that we see that needs some mitigation. So, not waiting for any changes within that environment at the 2 establishments. It was decided late Saturday evening, about 8:45, that we were going to go over and consult with with the management for the 2 companies to, temporarily close business until the issues and documentations are updated and rectified.
245 inspections have been made by ABTC over the past week. 154 complied, and the remaining 35% have not been following the COVID-19 directives.
These establishments were subsequently advised, educated, and warned at the same time, to fix the varying infractions that they have with respect to the compliance of Directive 14. So what needs to happen over the next week or this week for week 2, need to see a reduction of this non-compliance from 35% and see whether the complied with the warnings.
Maritita says ABTC will make a second visit to the establishments that have been warned, and if no changes have been made, the businesses will be temporarily shut down. The CNMI Department of Finance is requesting an additional $5 million for child tax refunds this week. As for the regular tax refunds, Secretary of Finance David Adelig is expecting to start distribution later this month.
We're in communication with IRS. We are sending the second batch of requests by the end of this week. It looks like I'm hoping for more than $5 million for child tax.
Adelig says the Department of Finance is compiling the data for the remaining tax refunds with hopes of getting the first batch out within the next couple of weeks.
Our system is inadequate enough to do multiple batches at the same time. So we plan to finish up child tax, and shortly after we can batch the regular taxes and get that prepped up for refunds. We anticipate around mid-September to get out the first batch of tax returns. That is the goal. That's one of my goals, is ensure that we can try to get a first batch out.
Those who opt for direct deposit will receive the tax refund before those who opt for paper checks, as the administration says it could take an additional 2 weeks for the Postal Service to sort and distribute the mail. The Office of the Attorney General lost a valuable weapon in fighting property crimes. That's according to Chief Prosecutor John Bradley, who is asking legislature to take another look at a law that prosecutes vandalism. What some would call a work of art, such as graffiti, others call property damage, breaking windows, destroying vehicles, or causing destruction that can't be fixed. It's vandalism at its finest. Punishment for such actions in the CNMI changed back in March, amending the criminal mischief law.
Starting March the 20th of this year, the governor signed into law a bill that took away the type of criminal mischief we could previously prosecute based upon the value of the damage. So the more valuable something you damage, the higher the punishment would be, including jail time. The new law, called vandalism, has no jail time regardless of the value, and the only punishment that the judge can impose is either a fine or requiring some community service work. Those are both fine parts of punishment, but if you don't have the opportunity to also send someone to jail, then they're not going to be very motivated to pay restitution, to do the community service, or to pay the fine.
Which could lead an individual to commit the act again, knowing the punishment is not extreme.
We have already identified individuals who are repeat offenders. For some reason, criminal mischief is their crime. Many times it's throwing a rock through a windshield. That seems to be the most common form of criminal mischief. And defendants now are learning that they're not going to be arrested by a warrant. They can't be put into jail and punished for it. And the most that they face is a fine that's very difficult now to enforce.
Chief Prosecutor John Bradley is just asking the legislature to take a look at this law, tweaking the statute, so that when criminal mischief cases appear in court involving destruction of valuable items, the individual committing the crime can be properly punished.
This was never intended to be a criticism of the legislation or of the legislature. None of us are perfect, and no law is finished. This is just an opportunity to continue a discussion and perhaps make some improvements.
Coming up, the 2020 CNMI Census Office has wrapped up their work. Find out what some of their biggest challenges were after the break.
Students get smart savings at IT&E with free selected Samsung Galaxy phones and awesome discounts on plans. Get the Samsung Galaxy A7 I for free and 10 gigs of 4G LTE data for just $45 a month. Choose the Samsung Galaxy A11 for free and 5 gigs of 4G LTE data for just $27 a month. Or browse our entire selection of phones and plans and still get a 10% discount on any monthly plan. Go to ite.net for details.
Winigi PHI Pharmacy in Gofadahi, Ihinim Lomo.
Our complete line of pharmaceuticals and lowest prices ensure you get the treatment that you deserve.
Our compassionate, friendly, multilingual staff will take the time to get to know you, explain your medications to you, and answer any questions that you may have.
Ngere ayor sumaye ukalweres ren. Utchu wayor safeye emal ebalusyu klalyam weres.
Inumin ng inyong gamot ayon sa inireseta ng inyong doktor at alinsunod sa bilin ng inyong pharmaceutical.
We accept most insurance, but in case you don't have coverage, we offer cost-effective generic drugs.
PHI Pharmacy, your lifelong partner in health. PHI, the pharmacy you can trust.
Welcome back to the Channel 2 News. The CNMI Office of Planning and Development are looking at ways to revitalize and grow the District of Garapan into a family-friendly destination. Sally Lemus reports.
On Tuesday, OPD officials presented the proposal of transforming Garapan into the center of economic activity to members of the House. OPD currently awaits the approval of an $11 million grant that will be used to fund this project. Once the money gets in, they estimate the project to be complete within 36 months. One concern raised by Representative Marco Peter is the proposed increase of parking space and the traffic flow. OPD Deputy Director Chris Concepcion.
The only other option that the government has is to turn the streets that are two ways today into one-way streets and design it like that image on the top, where on one side is going to be street parking and then through traffic will go right next to it, similar to what's done in other urban areas, and it will be marked with those white lines on the road that tell you park in this section.
Representative Janet Maritita requested that OPD remembers to incorporate the CNMI's culture belief in designs.
We should always bear in mind and promote what kind of people are we, who we are, where we came from, and that means ensuring that our island is well represented to our language, culture, traditions, and so forth.
OPD Director Kodep Ogumore Ulodong says the community shares the same concern and their office will not forget. The Garapan revitalization planning efforts are important components in the comprehensive sustainable development plan that has been underway since 2017. 15 agencies in the CNMI are working with OPD to assure a successful project. Reporting for KSPN News, I'm Sally Lemus.
The census is about a lot more than numbers. These surveys are used to produce high-quality data that will help make decisions in the CNMI. As their work wraps up, our Sally Lemus speaks with folks who headed the project and will soon be leaving the CNMI.
The 2020 CNMI Census Office finishes up their work and are now packing up.
We've finished all of enumeration, and we just wrapped up yesterday the field follow-up. So that was where we would go out and confirm some information from the respondents to see if we had counted their houses correctly.
CNMI Census Advisor Colleen Joyce says now that the job is done, all we have to do is wait.
So at this point, the office is still open. We'll be working to, as Lorenza said, we're doing some final quality checks on everything. We have to carefully ship it. We have to make sure we don't leave anything out, all the questionnaires and the registers. So we're being very careful about shipping it, making sure it's secure when it's shipped. And then it will go to the Census Bureau's processing facility in Indiana and go through, all of it gets scanned and tabulated. And yeah, so from the CNMI perspective, yeah, it is a little bit of a waiting game at this point for the public anyway. There'll be a lot of work going on the census side until those numbers come out, as I said, hopefully in the first part of next year.
Surveys were conducted on 6 islands: Saipan, Tinian, Rota, Pagan, Alamagan, and Agrihen. Joy speaks on some of the challenges they faced.
I would say obviously COVID, to shut down for 2 months and then and start back up again. We were pretty much a 2-month delay all the way through. So we were hoping originally to finish enumeration by the end of June and follow up by the end of July. So we're running about 2 months behind, but that's about how long we were shut down. So that makes sense. And then the call center. It was never part of the original plans to have an option for people to phone in and answer the questions. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Like we have to know where you are. So anyone who did call in, they know they had to like give us some information about where they live so we knew where to count them. But putting together a call center midstream like we did was not easy, and there was a lot of logistical challenges, but the staff here just completely rose to the occasion and we got it up and running, and it's a little bit unheard of. So that is probably our biggest challenge, but in the end, I think it's something that everybody should be really, really proud of.
The CNMI House of Representatives presented Joyce with a House resolution last week, thanking her for all the work she's done. Joyce says that in the 1 year she's spent here, she's learned so much about the culture, people, and she expresses her gratitude for the warm welcome.
Cultures that are here, everyone was so welcoming to me. I mean, you've been very welcoming to the census. We've had great response rate to the census on a professional level. People have been just opening their homes and warm, but on a personal level as well. Everybody I've met here has, invited me into their family gatherings and everything else, which has been really special for me, being so far from home. I'm literally halfway around the world. So I just want to thank everybody. This has been a wonderful experience for me. I hope to come back when we do release the data for a visit. I'll be here another few weeks while we ship it. I'll make sure everything gets shipped off and some of the office closure happens. So I'm still here for a little while. But it's really been a great experience, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. It's a very, very special place, CNMI.
I'm Sally Limis for KSPN News.
Thank you, Sally. All right, coming up, KSPN2 Sports serves. Wait, we can't serve. The tennis courts are closed. That story next.
Census was a success. We counted from the Northern Islands
to Saipan, to Tinian,
to Luta.
We went by plane,
by boat,
by car,
and on foot.
Why?
Because you matter.
Because of you.
Everyone was counted.
Because of you.
Everyone was represented.
Because of you. Everyone has a voice.
Because of you.
We will have
improved healthcare,
better schools, safer roads,
improved government services. And for this, we say thank you.
Thank you for inviting us into your home.
Thank you for trusting us with your information.
Thank you for being patient with us.
Maraming salamat po.
Spasiba.
Kiriso tapul.
Kompmal musulang.
Kalangan. Xie Toche.
Kuilo malanda.
Fapetai.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Sakarusik and Kamagar.
감사합니다.
Olomai. Sizuus maosi.
Thank you for being counted. Thank you for shaping our future.
Peace out 2020.
Thank you for being here with us.
For finding ways to keep things happening.
For making things feel a lot better.
Thank you.
Energize, realize, feels so good just to be alive. Time's a gift, my time is free. I can spend it on you, you can spend it on me. I can say you'll be blown away by the change you see me. And I feel alright, dance all night, put a little flavor in my life.
Thank you for staying strong with us.
And for us.
Thank you for always connecting.
For keeping us together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for reminding us
that despite this distance,
we are still better together.
Docomo Pacific, better together.
Tonight's sports brought to you in part by Tan Holdings through the Tan Su Lin Foundation, making communities a better place to live. Buena sports fans. Buena sports fans, tennis players are wondering when the courts at American Memorial Park will reopen. Here's the deal. The American Memorial tennis courts have been closed. Park Superintendent Barbara Alberti would like them to reopen.
And now it seems like things are improving in terms of conditions, and like to move to our next phase, which would be to open the tennis courts. And early on, they asked us to use the parking area, and they were parking in the beginning quite a lot of cars there, and they didn't want to have any conflicts with tennis players. So since the parks were closed anyway, that was the case. But now, starting about 10 days ago, the parks have, according to the last directive, have been open again just for recreational exercise and wellness.
Closing the public courts and then keeping them off limits is due to the interplay of two factors.
The other piece of the puzzle is that we have our reopening plan, and we have a phased approach to increasing the access to our park. So each phase is based on CDC and local public health guidance. So again, we've been following the public health guidance, which said parks were closed up until that most recent directive. And we've been working proactively with our public health officer to ensure that we could open the court safely once all the criteria are met.
When the courts do open, there will be new protocols.
Yes. So at the same time, as I said a few weeks ago when we contacted CHC, I also think he's usually our point of contact for the tennis community. And he's great about getting the word out. And we advised him that we're going to use the U.S. Tennis Association guidance for playing tennis safely. And it's posted on the USTA website.
But they won't be open for too long because there's improvements to be made.
We're actually working on a contract to resurface the tennis courts as well. I should have mentioned that first. But again, like many other things, that's kind of gone by the wayside due to COVID. But we expect it to pick back up again, hopefully, once, contracts and travel and start up again.
That special project, after national tennis coach Jeff Race requested it.
The Tennis Court Association has asked us about, the tennis courts because they wanted to host the mini games next year.
That's not the only special project that the park is undertaking.
We've also been working on the design to improve the seawall that has been collapsing over between Smiling Cove and Outer Cove.
Other additional projects at AMP beyond their basic $1.6 million annual budget includes paving the loop road inside the park and new flagpoles at the Court of Honor. COVID-19 Task Force Chairman Warren Villagomez told KSPN2 Sports that he has no problem with the courts reopening as long as the tennis players follow guidelines. So now it's up to the Park Service and the task force to agree and make it happen. All right, we've got weather coming up after this break.
Here's the windup and the pitch.
I don't believe what I just saw!
Go-karts, off-roading, and the driving range now open at Marianas Trekking. Go-kart track will be open Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays with 50% off when you book online at marianastrekking.com, hours 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Use the promo code HAFA50 to get your discount. Off-roading is open too by reservation. Come on a 90-minute trail ride that is perfect for families. Book online at marianastrekking.com. Golfers, come practice on the driving range. You can even pay online and we will have the balls waiting for you. Come see us weekends at Marianas Trekking, 323-8735.
Hi, I'm Dre, one of the personal trainers here at Gold's Gym.
and today I want to go over some exercises that you can easily apply into your current exercise program. Now I have here with me Vince, and he's going to be demoing some of those exercises. Now the first one today is going to be a one-arm dumbbell row. Before I have Vince here execute a few reps, what we want to remember with virtually any exercise is your setup. If you start in a bad position, it's not going to look good, and it's certainly not going to feel good. So a common mistake with here is obviously a rounded upper back, and as you can see, he's not very rigid or stable. So what we're going to do is correct that just a little bit. So his supporting arm and his leg that's supported on the bench as well is we want to lock that in. Open up that leg a little bit to allow for a better path on that dumbbell. With the elbows coming up way too high, you can see the shoulders riding forward, and that's not what we want. So ideally, what you want to think about is pulling with your elbows and stopping right at the midline of your body. So in this position right here, you can feel his entire upper back along with his core.
So what are you going to do this year? At Gold's, a dedicated fitness studio with a cushioned floor is perfect for group exercise. The cardio room features a variety of treadmills, bikes, steppers, and ellipticals. Fitness machines will help you achieve your goals, and the largest free weight area on Saipan gives you comfortable space to work out. Gold's Gym team is ready to help you get to your goals. Try harder. We know you can do it.
North of Saipan is Tropical Storm 11W Haishin. It's going to be a typhoon later this week and going towards southern Japan and Korea. Today's high temperature was 88, the low 79, heat index 103, humidity 75%. Tomorrow partly cloudy, isolated showers, southeast winds 10 to 15, high 90, low 79, seas 5 to 7 feet. Sunrise at 6:04, sunset 6:27. This is our midweek edition of KSPN2 News. Thank you for watching. We'll see you back here on Friday evening.